let's put this in perspective, especially what ma'am said and you also mentioned, that in certain context with your peers, you need to be easy to work with. But my experience has shown that people who end up taking leadership roles are generally difficult to work with, even when they are at a lower level. So, in fact, being easy to work with stunts growth.
Yes. Can I add to it?
Yeah,
So-
please, all of you add.
I disagree to it.
I agree to some extent. I'll tell you why I agree. So when you are very easy to work with, it works well at a junior level. Like he's a very good guy, easy to work with. But a leadership role is not, paid for being easy to work with. He is there for his judgment. Company pays him for his judgment. And if you have to give a judgment, you have to be sometimes bitter. So not all medicines are sweet, right? So people, if are paid for judgment, they might be sometimes difficult. That's what I was mentioning, difficult with purpose. You might be difficult with a purpose. So for leadership level, I don't think easy to work with always works well.
My statement is a little beyond that. That is, if as a junior I am easy to work with, I don't go up the ranks.
You'll not.
Statistically significant.
Yes, yes,
Yes, I'll tell you why.
yes. I mean, I've seen so many CEOs who are generally called difficult. I've rarely met a CEO who is called, look at the finance persons, people who control the money. CFOs.
Those are generally difficult. So they are both.
It's unfortunate we have not met before.
Oh, you are nice here. Let me get a sanction out of you.
I'll just quickly add up with this thing. So in supply chain, so I have worked in automotive. So let's say you are the person who fixes the machine before the line stops. So if you are not there, machine breaks. So will you not be cemented in that place? So when you are easy to work with, you are actually cemented into that place. And that is why you are not growing. And that is where
I think I'll just, it's not absolutes, right? I think at a leadership level, it's all about balance. I think we get stuck with this or that. I think there is a book, Good to Great, Jim Collins calls this, it's the paradox, right? It's the tyranny of the or. I have to be this or that. At leadership level, it's never this or that. It is, you can be kind and actually very strong, right? You can be very kind, you can be nice and really be strong and firm with who you work with your juniors, with you, as at that level. I think our mind, our brain thinks, okay, I have to be this or that. It's a...
Let me clarify here before I come to you, sir.
Yeah.
Being easy to work with or difficult to work with doesn't mean I deny access. I don't listen to the person, right? I call out mistakes in perhaps language which is not very pleasant.
you ask hard questions.
Right? So that is what I mean by difficult to work with. It's not, I'm not a doormat. Right?
Taken for granted.
हाँ, taken for granted, ये तो कर लेगा, right? और ये सवाल नहीं पूछेगा. अब I bring you a sanction note, अरे it's easy. Looking at my signature, you will sign. So I'm making that clarification very, very clear. So I'm not denying access. It's not as if I'm unkind, right? I'm just a person who calls out, right? So 2 points we have been looking at. First of all, we have been looking at the fact that, yeah, it is important at roles which are more collaborative at the bottom of the pyramid, and at higher roles, decision making, one has to call out because it is important for that particular role. But when a person grows up the ladder, then does he acquire those, does he continue to be easy to work with?
So I have a perspective on this. What happens as you grow in the organization, and this is a trend that at least I see increasingly, that more and more it is less about your own manager versus your ability to work with multiple managers. How well you are able to do that essentially drives your career these days, right? Gone are the days where I impress one person in the organization, which is my manager, and I'll continue to rise. Gone are those days. Unless you are able to do that across a wide cross-section of people within the organization, it is very difficult for you to rise in the organization. Which means there is a balance that you need to strike. You need to be open to a wide cross-section of people, right? You need to also show that when the times come, you have it in you to be difficult. I'll give you an example. When there is an issue with respect to compliance, statutory, you have to be difficult as a leader, because you can't make any compromises there, or else the business shuts, right? And unless you are able to show this trait to a wide cross-section of people, you are not going to. So as a junior person is looking to grow his or her career, you will have to adapt. You will have to build this within yourself to make sure that you have what it takes for you to get to a certain level. And if you are not able to do that, obviously you will not get to where you want to be. So it's also the person's ability to understand and adapt as you grow within the organization. So what was good for me when I was junior, which is easy to work with, has to get balanced as you grow up in the organization.
So I have a small question.
Sorry, spoke over you. No, hence I mentioned, right, how easygoing you are or how difficult, it's purely comes from the responsibilities that you hold. So it's not necessary that you got to be difficult and still do the same responsibility. Sometimes, like you mentioned, we have to be collaborative, we have to be easygoing. So,
You know, you have given a much nicer connotation to the whole difficult, so it's very difficult now for me to oppose that. But what I'm saying is, many a times a personality is something which you have grown with over several years. Okay, you're an easygoing person. Okay, now you mentioned that nice guys finish last kind of thing. I wouldn't 100% agree with it, but yes, probability is high that probability is high that you require a lot more than skills. You need political skills. You need a lot of other things. So, but the question is that when your personality is that, should somebody young guy who has this, should he change just because he wants to climb the ladder? If doing something which is against his nature, does it come to him? That's, I don't know. I don't know the right answer to it. Can he really mold himself? The second thing is, even if a person is difficult, I say, you have various ways, various contexts in which you interact with it. In a particular situation, yes, compliance, something, yes. But there are other situations. So are you uniformly difficult, then you have a problem. Yes. But if you are difficult in some, you would be easy in other situations. You would probably go and have a drink with them at the end of the day. I mean, there are a lot of other leadership styles which are there. They're very tough leaders. I would say tough is probably a better term. There are very tough leaders who really get along with that. But at the same time, they're professional enough to keep it out, personal and other rapport stuff. But on the work, yes, I'm demanding, I'm this. And there is a context, there is an organizational context to this.
Kind and tough. I think like he brought up strategy, ethical, right? If somebody does, you can be, it's not about whether you're able to get work. You also, as a CEO or as a leader of you need to be able to get work done. Most of the time you can extract the best work from the people if you know them, you work with them well, and they actually respect you and know that you have their back. That requires definitely they should know that you have their back, which is a form of kindness, that you make sure that they will grow. And also you should be able to help them to grow, which is being tough if they are not doing the right thing. And actually extremely tough, you can call it difficult if something ethical happens. There is no two things about it. So you can be kind, you can be. I believe the nice things finish last was a statement made up by a not so nice guy to just find an excuse. So.
No, I think in junior levels, when it comes to junior levels, difficult also has many connotations, like many interpretations. It can be he's not disciplined, he doesn't come to office on time, he's very difficult to work with. It does not come from a power of, from a view of authority, ki, oh, he's so, this thing that he doesn't approve things. he's so it's not like he does not approve because it can be difficult, can be he's not on time, it can be disciplinary issues, it can be things like he's not. And also, as you said, right now the organizations don't look at one ladder of growth, right? Nobody works in silos. It's all interdependent, interdepartment connections.
I want to, give a contradictory thought. Let's say in supply chain, there is a concept called in lean manufacturing that we call it Jidoka, right? So what happens is line is going, any abnormality you spot, you stop the line and fix it, then again error. So how it is easy to work with person, what he does is before the ball hits the ground, he catches every time. So ultimately, he is not letting your processes become lean. So in a way, the easy to work person is actually not good for your processes to mature.
I mean, this is a very important thought because one of the things that I found easy to work with kind of people, they tend to hide mistakes.
Exactly.
No, but there is a different perspective to that also. You said people who call out, difficult to work with. People who call out, how that person is saying that is very important. Second thing is, there are many people who can just call out. It's the easiest thing to do. Can you come up with a solution around what you have called out? Right? So unless and until you're able to do that, you're just a blocker. You're nothing more than that.